Hello everyone and welcome to this week's English commentary of a match that was played in 1996. Red was International Master Chen孝坤, Black was Master童本平representing Xiamen at that time. So again, I would like to express my gratitude to Grandmaster Zhang Qiang and Master Ye Wenqing for allowing me to use their comments from their book to make this video. So without further ado, let us begin. Red started with the horse opening, and the most popular counter would be the pawn opening, whereby Black would try to restrict the movement or development of this left horse while allow for development of his right horse. And usually by playing c8 h8 plus 7, Red would choose to review his formation or opening plans slightly later on in the game. Red countered with p3 plus 1, which is also a very commonly seen counter. Since Black had pushed p7 plus 1, he would push p3 plus 1 to allow for development of his right horse. Black developed his left horse. It was not in any hurry to move his left horse. So Red would adopt the screen horse defense formation as Red. Now in this match, Black played a unusual move of c8 equals to 4 for the cross palace cannon formation. Now this would be a dubious move that will result in a very dubious formation for Black. Now at this point in time, Black's formation would be a little bit awkward. Now usually Black would usually play r1 plus 1 to develop his right chariot as a ranked chariot, or e7 plus 5 to consolidate his defense and see what Red was up to. And because Black had played this very interesting move, Black immediately countered with r1 plus 1. Now this would target and be prepared to play r1 equals to 6 to prevent Black from playing the horse to the riverbank. Another plausible option would be to play h3 plus 4 immediately. So if Red will go for the central cannon, and Red would have the initiative firmly in hand. Now Black has to make this move. If not, let's say he played the chariot, Red will capture the central pawn and gain a headhunter cannon. So because of Black's awkward formation and he wanted to go for the cross palace cannon, Black continued with c2 plus 2. Now the idea was to discourage Black from playing r1 equals to 6. If he did, Black could play h3 plus 4 to attack the chariot. However, now although it would seem to be a plausible option, this in fact was a bad move. Instead, Black should have played h8 plus 7. So even if Red played r1 equals to 6, he could develop his left chariot, and Black would still basically have a tenable situation and would not fall so quickly in the game. Unfortunately, in the match, Black played c2 plus 2, hoping to play h3 plus 4. But at this point in time, Black's formation was very dubious and fragile because there was nothing protecting the central pawn. The cannon was blocking the horse from protecting the central pawn, and Black's cannon rank was very weak. So Red took the opportunity and exploited the situation with c2 plus 5. Now this was a very brilliant move, because by placing the cannon over here, the black horse or the elephants could not move to the cannon rank anymore, or Black would lose the cannon. Now this would hit Black the hardest in his formation. And as can be seen, because of this move, the entire the development of the black pieces was suddenly halted. Not only would the cannon now be threatening the horse, again, Black could not move any other piece to the cannon rank. So Red moved his horse to the river bank, although he had finally achieved his goals, but his left flank and right chariot were basically immobilized. And Red retreated his cannon in response to h3 plus 4. The main idea or main goal of this move was to attack the central file. Black tried to salvage the situation by playing r9 plus 1. But unfortunately, Red would simply refuse to let go of his attack on the central file. And developing the chariot as a rank chariot would not be such a good idea in this situation. Instead, perhaps it would have been better for Black to play c4 equals to 5, although he would have lost a move in the process, but at least he would have been able to ward off Red's attack on the central file. So Red played r1 equals to 4, and Black played e7 plus 9. The main idea was to try to trade chariots, but again, as can be seen, only by the 7th move, Black's entire formation was now becoming very flimsy and awkward. Red chose to attack the central pawn, and as can be seen, there was nothing that Black could do, and Black chose to develop a laissez-faire attitude at this point in time. Now, this was not a very good move in retrospect. Instead, he should have played h8 plus 6 to try to protect the central pawn and slow down Red's attack, and to fortify his defense. Although his defense would be still awkward, but at least he would not go down so fast. So Black captured the central pawn, threatening to checkmate, and forced Black to play c4 equals to 7. And as can be seen, in the end, Black could still lose a move. Red chose to develop his left chariot so that if he traded, he would be able to command a central file, and Black did likewise. A very nice move. Red would now advance his chariot to the cannon rank and threaten to play r9 equals to 6, etc. But there will be many more other options for Black to move. And this would be a very powerful attack to forcefully penetrate Black's fortress. In the match, Black played c7 plus 3, thinking that he might have an attack going on this flank. Unfortunately, this will only result in his formation becoming weaker and weaker. Instead, r6 plus 1 should have been played, whereby Black will accept the trade and thus decrease the material that Red had to attack. So this Red will of course capture the chariot, threatening the checkmate. Black would now develop his horse. If the checkmate would now not be possible, because if he did a check, Black would capture the central cannon. But Red would now threaten to capture the Black cannon. And as can be seen, because of the headhunter cannon, Black cannot move any advisor or the elephant to the central file. Now, Black would still be able to put up a fight, although it is obvious that he was at a disadvantage, but at least he would not have fallen so quickly. Unfortunately, Black decided to attack and play c7 plus 3. Now, Black immediately played r9 equals to 4, forcing a trade of chariots. Black gained an elephant, but this will only allow the king to come out to attack. b7 plus 1. Black first chose to play r4 equals to 8 in the match to capture material. If the cannon moved over here, Red would play p9 plus 1. Red tried to trade material. Of course, Black would refuse, and he protected both cannons from the fought by the horse with this move. Red was forced to sacrifice the cannon, or chose to sacrifice his cannon at this point in time, but Red was not in a hurry to gain material. Instead, he retreated his cannon to be protected by the pawn. Red pushed the horse across the river, hoping to mount a counter-attack and thus protect the cannon in this manner. And Red tried to grow from strength to strength by attacking the horse in this manner. Now, this would, if the headhunter cannon had effectively pinned Black's material, and by retreating the cannon in this manner, Red leveraged the situation, threatening to gain more material. This battle strategy was very versatile. Red, of course, chose to capture the cannon, but in doing so, this black cannon will also be threatened. Again, Black was not in a hurry. Black was not in a hurry. Red was not in a hurry to capture the black cannon. Black tried to gain some form of compensation, but it was at this point in time, Red would capture the cannon to have a material advantage. Now it would be Black's 1 chariot, 2 horses, 1 cannon versus Black's 1 chariot, 1 cannon and 1 horse. Black charged the pawn across the river, hoping to gain some momentum or attack in compensation for his earlier folly. And although Red had a material advantage, but the black pawn had crossed the river, basically there was not much that Black could do at this point in time. And although Black still harbored some form of counter-attack, Red had already gained material, and he chose not to be. He chose to play it safe and prevent or snuff out any potential counterattacks by Black. So at this point, retreating the horse was a display of forbearance, so that Black's attack will be halted, or any potential counterattack will be halted. Now, Black cannot play h7 + 5 at this point in time because Black would simply charge the other pawn across the river, and suddenly Red would be in all sorts of trouble because the pawn will now threaten to attack, and Red would probably lose material. So retreating was a good move at this point in time. Black, after retreating the horse, the pawn cannot advance because it will be protected, and now Red will start to attack the black horse, forcing it to move away, and the central pawn will now charge across the river. Black defended, and this pawn will now be a huge threat to Black. Black tried to mount some form of counter, hoping to play c7 = 9 and go for a check. Red simply ignored Black's threat. Black chose the opportunity to push the pawn across the river. Red delivered a check, and at this point in time, although Black's chariot appeared to be threatening, this chariot was basically restrained and could not do much in this situation. Instead of this move, Black could have considered playing k5 = 4 so that his chariot would still be kept in the open and not be pinned by the red pieces. Red retreated his cannon to be protected by the horse. Black tried to gain material, but Red was simply faster. The black chariot cannot capture the pawn, it will be an immediate check. So Red will draw first blood, and Black would retreat his cannon again to safety. At this point in time, Black tried to consolidate his defenses, but the mighty red pawn would simply take out the elephant, and now both colors will only have one elephant left. But as can be seen, red's attack would be much faster and ferocious, and if the fact that he still had one extra horse would basically mean that this game was red's for the taking. Okay, Black chose to capture the pawn. If not, the pawn will simply capture the advisor and Black's defense would be crushed to smithereens. Black played k4, 4 equals to 7, threatening to checkmate, forcing the king out, delivering a check, forcing the king to a very precarious position. Now this is a commonly used tactic before capturing the pawn. As can be seen, Black had now captured Black's pawn, and although Black's pawn, this other pawn had already advanced, there was nothing much that it could do at this point in time. Black tried to mount some form of offense, but red's formation was simply too powerful and strong, and now red was prepared to play r7 equals to 6 to gain material by a discovered check. So, and victory will be in sight. Red will slowly take out the pawns, and the extra horse over here would mean that red would win for sure. And seeing that all was lost, Black decided to resign. So let us review the game as Black. Horse opening, pawn counter, so far so good. And this would be the dubious move, or the move that caused inherent weaknesses in Black's formation that will result in his rapid demise. Red countered with r1 plus 1. Another possibility would be h3 plus 4. Black played c2 plus 2, oblivious of the weaknesses on his central file. And red played a very brilliant move with c2 plus 5. Red retreated the cannon, preparing to attack the central file. Again, a bad choice by Black. Instead, h8 plus 6 would perhaps been better to protect the central pawn, although the development of the chariot would become an issue, but perhaps Black would not fall so quickly. Check, threatening to checkmate with the central cannon. Double cannon checkmate, sorry. Black blocked the cannon. Red chose to develop this other chariot, so they Black. And a very powerful attack by Red, threatening to play r6 equals to 5 to attack and gain material later on. Now, Black made another mistake, c7 plus 3. Instead, r6 plus 1 should have been played. At least, perhaps Black could have held on slightly longer. Forcing a trade of material, check, and Black advanced the pawn. And the cannon will now be a weakness. Black tried to trade material. Red refused. Another brilliant move, threatening to capture the horse. And one of Black's major counter-attacking pieces was this horse, and taking it out would mean that Red would now have the advantage firmly in hand. Red would now gain material. And the red chariot and cannon would now attack the horse, forcing it away. And the pawn will now attack. Black tried to mount some form of offense, but Red simply ignored it. Check. Another questionable move. Perhaps Black could have moved his king to safety. Red gains more material. tries to defend. Red simply captured the elephant. And at this point in time, Red played slowly but surely, assured that he will win eventually. So at this point in time, Red would have the material advantage, and Black decided to call it a day. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. This will mark the last commentary of the book, in the book Dubious Positions and How to Attack Them. And I hope you've enjoyed the entire series. There were 20 commentaries, and I've made all of them into videos. And if you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel. I've been a little bit busy lately, and I'll try to keep up my regular production. Thank you.